Most of you know Neil if you've been coming to the meetings, and he's going to speak briefly about impact letters that we can write to judges, how you've been, how crime has impacted you as a resident of the neighborhood, and
I don't think it involved anyone in our area, but I understand that recently in connection with a neighborhood impact statement or letter, someone from a neighborhood contacted called one of the judges' homes directly. Sometimes we've had situations where when people come to court to talk about someone who's about to be sentenced, there have been situations where they made statements to the judge, I think this person should get X years in the penitentiary, or they might make statements that are personally insulting to the defendant or to the defendant's lawyer. And what we wanted to make you all aware of is we'd like to help you maximize the impact of the information that you provide to the judge. When someone is being sentenced for an offense and people from the community want to communicate to the court about the impact of this and other kinds of crimes in their community, that's the information you give to the judge. That's the kind of evidence you give to the judge through your written statements or oral statements to the court. It is not appropriate for someone speaking to the judge to say, I think this person should get 10 years, this person should get 5 years, or for there to be any statements that are insulting to the lawyer or to the defendant. What you'll see in the package is if anyone wants to offer a written statement to the court, we're requesting that you send them to our office, and the information is in there about how you do that. You write the letter to the judge, but we're requesting that you send the letters to us. Our people will review them to make sure that they're appropriate in terms of you don't cross the boundaries I just talked about. Secondly, we will make sure that the documents are properly filed with the court and served on the defense. The defendant is entitled to know about all communications that are made to the court. You don't have to, by the way, in your written communications give your home addresses or anything like that, or in your oral statements. So you don't have to worry about retribution from the defendant or any members of his family. What we're requesting is that if you have a written statement to make, you send them to our office. You send them to Vera Lyons in our office. And as I said, the information is in the booklet. There's a form letter in there. We're not necessarily offering it as a form for you, but it's just an example for you to look at what an appropriate letter might look like. If there's a problem with a letter you submit or with something you want to say to the court, we'll try to work with you to maximize the impact of what you're trying to communicate to the judge and keep things within the rules. The other thing that's in the package that I wanted to make you aware of is I think there was a knockout gang attack on a physician leaving Children's Hospital recently. I'm not personally familiar with the event, but I think there was some communication between Jennifer Joyce of our office and some people who were concerned about that incident. In particular, there was some concern that it was only charged as an assault in the 3rd degree. The letter is in the folder, and you'll see what our reasoning was as to why, under the law, this was appropriately charged as an assault in the 3rd degree and did not rise to the level of an assault in the 2nd degree or an assault in the 1st degree. Assault 3rd is a misdemeanor, assault 2nd and 1st are felonies. And the letter explains why we are constrained. We can't, just because we think a crime is particularly distasteful doesn't mean we can charge a higher level of crime. We have to charge a crime where the law, according to what the law is. So that letter is in there. Jennifer also wanted me to make you all aware. She is very concerned about the knockout gang stuff going on in the city. You will not, however, hear her or see her on television or in the radio or in the newspaper describing these things as knockout gang attacks. She'll be describing them as assaults, and part of her thinking, part of our thinking about that is, for a lot of these guys who are doing this kind of thing, part of the thrill for them is seeing the notoriety, seeing the publicity, and our feeling is that if we adopt that terminology in public statements from our office, it will encourage the behavior we're trying to discourage. So we're using language like assault. You won't hear in us in public statements talking about these things as knockout attacks. Any questions? Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Neil. Neil's talked at great lengths before in other meetings about the importance that these letters have, and I had the opportunity to read about 10 or so recently on one of our cases, the robbery case, where the defendant was pleading guilty and he was going before Judge Frawley, and I sent out a request, anybody wanting to write a letter, please do so. And let me tell you, those letters are heartfelt and sincere and emotional. From lifelong residents of the West End who, provided a variety of reasons of how crime impacts them. When they have relatives who won't come down into the Central West End to visit, and some of the perception that's perpetuated by the media about crime down here, and all of that takes a toll on the businesses and the quality of life down here. So those impact letters touched me personally, and I think they touched the judge. I'm sorry, it wasn't Judge Frawley, it was
Judge Wilson.
Judge Wilson, correct. Judge Frawley for another one.
And even if you're unwilling or unable to send in a written statement or make a statement, I do think the mere fact that you show up in court at the time of a sentencing, and the mere fact that a prosecutor can say to the judge, Your Honor, we have 6 people here from the Central West End Neighborhood Association who are here because they're concerned about crime in the community and they wanted to attend and see what happened in the sentencing. That all by itself has some impact, and it's important. And so even if you don't want to write a letter or speak in court, I think it's a good thing to show up at some of these sentences.
Or send an email.
Right.
There is a probation hearing coming up for a resident of the Central West End who lives on McPherson, and he has violated the conditions of his probation. He is I would imagine, given his criminal record, he's had a substance abuse problem for a long time, and how he fuels that addiction is by breaking into people's homes, stealing things from people's cars, and he's racked up about 6 felony cases. And back in the fall, Judge Frawley agreed to put him on probation with a 25-year backup, meaning if he violates the conditions of his probation, he can be sent to prison for immediate execution of that sentence. And he got caught out in Shrewsbury in someone's home while they were there, while he was trying to burglarize it. So that's been the final straw, and the judge is ready to sentence him, or I guess have him fulfill probation. Correct. And so I'll send out an email if those of you want to attend. It probably won't take very long because the judge didn't seem to be too patient at the initial hearing, or in my opinion should he have. But he gave this gentleman a gift back in the fall, and he squandered it. So now he's going to go to prison for hopefully the next 25 years. And here's my little soapbox. That doesn't mean that's the end of his life. And, some people think prison's the end of the road. I mean, this is a guy who's suffered a substance abuse problem for years, and he's impacted victimized a lot of people, homes, their peace of mind, their quality of life, not to mention his own